I've been that guy. While you was at home doing this, I was in the club making moves.
Jake Paul, if this is not going to be, curated into a little dance around exhibition, could find himself in a way of getting seriously hurt here, like Francis Ngannou did. Francis Ngannou was an MMA fighter that got blasted out by Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua has now stepped forward with calm clarity after Jake Paul's latest training footage rippled through social media, where fans examined every slowed punch and fierce combination from Paul's newest camp clip. Joshua's reaction brings deeper intensity to the rising anticipation. As a former unified heavyweight champion, AJ isn't easily moved, yet he's clearly observing closely. And with Paul appearing sharper, quicker, and more disciplined than ever before, Joshua's response suggests both admiration for Paul's progress and firm belief that experience will matter when the two ultimately meet beneath the bright lights.
Not get in the way of Fury and Joshua, really, in my view. It's an absolute joke. It shouldn't be sanctioned. I really don't believe it should be sanctioned. I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be a very big fight. But the biggest thing is us rubbernecking to actually see if they do get to the point where they step in the ring together. Because Jake Paul's an area-level fighter, a British area-level fighter, and Anthony Joshua is still a killer and a live heavyweight. That should not be sanctioned anywhere in the world, in my view.
It's dangerous, mate.
Very dangerous.
It brings the sport into disrepute. The people that are talking about organising that, they should have a real hard look at themselves. Because
but even Eddie Hearn's kind of teasing he doesn't like it, but you can see the glitz of dollars.
There's no price. There is no price.
Back when Paul was still learning the ropes in boxing, Joshua offered what many viewed as an unexpectedly warm endorsement during a 2025 interview, and when asked about Paul, Joshua simply remarked he's good for boxing. That early remark revealed a readiness to recognize Paul's impact on boosting public interest in the sport, even as many questioned his long-term trajectory. Fast forward to now, the matchup is no longer theoretical, and the stakes have climbed. Paul, holding a 12-1 record with 7 knockouts, enters facing the toughest test of his career. Joshua, a unified heavyweight champion, stands with a 28-4 record.
Anthony Joshua now. How do you think that's going to go?
Man, Anthony Joshua, I don't know why I think Anthony Joshua would knock him out. No disrespect to Jake Paul, I think Anthony Joshua would knock him out. I'm saying like within like 2-3 rounds.
Yeah.
You saw what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou?
Yeah.
Come on, I ain't never seen Francis get knocked out.
Yeah, that was huge too.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
huge.
both huge.
Yeah, he's huge. But you gotta hear the story. You gotta get Francis Ngannou in here and hear this story though.
I'd love to.
Bro, he was set up though, for real. I
On
believe
that
him.
fight?
Yeah, I believe him. Cause here's what they do, like what sometimes what people don't understand. Like in boxing too, I don't know a whole lot about boxing. You know, when you fight for promotion, they promote that fighter. So he's fighting in Saudi Arabia. So they was probably fighting at 3 a.m. and they had him in
At their first public face-off during the November 21st press conference, Joshua didn't hold back. He highlighted the sheer professionalism of the bout, stressing that it's massive, colossal, a high-profile spectacle where skill meets marketability. He made it clear his focus is absolute, no distractions, no mercy. When asked at the same press event about his expected weight for the December 19th clash, Paul explained he had recently been cutting weight for another fight, making the jump to heavyweight even tougher. He estimated himself somewhere between roughly 215 and 225 pounds, signaling the challenge that lies ahead.
Nothing negative. He's here to do his job. I could sit up here, as I said, and try and address all the things that Jake doesn't do good. But I'm fighting Jake that's going to do everything good on December 19th. So let me focus on that. He's a good person, does his thing, great team around him, puts in the work, and that's why he's sitting here now. Anyone out there in the world that works harder than the next person deserves to be a front runner, and he's a front runner in the boxing game right now.
Respect. Jake, can I ask, it feels to me from afar, you're in a bit of a lose-lose here, because it seems like a lot of people want to see you get obliterated, right? A lot of people want to see you get your comeuppance. And if you do pull off the upset, or if this fight goes the distance, again, the whispers will start to come. People will discredit you. People will say, this, that, and the other about the fight. How do you balance that, and how do you deal with that?
Man, I've already won at every single thing in life. I'm playing on house money. I've accomplished all my dreams, said everything I was going to do, from becoming, the first influencer to become an actor on Disney, to becoming the biggest YouTuber in the world, to rising to the top of boxing and having the largest viewed fight in the history of the sport. I've accomplished everything. So this is a win-win and another challenge for myself. I've never been knocked down or knocked out even in sparring, but I'm in a sport where that happens, and I know this is dangerous. But this is no different than a soccer player, losing in the World Cup on the biggest stage. If that's how it goes, if I take one of those punches that Francis Ngannou took and I'm on the canvas, let's see how tough I am. Let's see if I can get back up. But I'm ready for that. I'm prepared for that mentally, and I know that he has to deal with me as well. This is not as one-sided fight as people think, and I have power. I have the ability to put people to sleep, and so that's why I took this challenge. And I know it's crazy and all of that, but I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. My team's excited, and everyone believes in me, and that's all that matters.
How much do you expect to weigh on fight night?
Man, I was cutting down for Gervonta, so it's been a little tough getting back up in some strength for this, but anywhere 215 to 225, we'll see.
Okay, and I want to clear something up with you, AJ. I saw in the press release that it said that on weigh-in day, you can't weigh above 245, but post weigh-ins, you can weigh whatever you want. There's no rehydration clause or anything like that. Is that accurate?
Whatever it says, yeah, I think that's the case. But my focus, 111 kilograms is what I got to weigh in at, right?
Jake Paul insists this fight is his moment to silence every critic who has always said he only targets small or washed-up opponents. He contends that by stepping in against Anthony Joshua, a true heavyweight and former world champion, he's finally showing he can compete at the sport's highest level. Paul claims that when he defeats Joshua, all doubts vanish. No one can deny him. The Jake Paul vs. Anthony Joshua clash will be a fully sanctioned professional heavyweight bout under Marquis of Queensberry rules. They'll battle over 8 rounds, each 3 minutes, wearing 10-ounce gloves. Joshua must weigh no more than 245 pounds, and a winter loss counts on their pro records. This is the real deal.
They said, fight someone your size. They said, fight a world champion. We looked at a long list of supposed fighters for me to fight. The world. Make no mistake, this is the biggest fight of my career. I'm walking into the lion's den. I'm doing something that no one else has ever done before. I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out, defeat, and embarrass Anthony Joshua Friday, December 19th, live on Netflix. My voice cracked, I'm still going through puberty. The biggest fight of 2025, USA versus UK. He's got the belts, the size, the history, but I have the balls. Be careful what you wish for. Jake versus Joshua, Judgment Day. He has a 90% knockout ratio, but I have a...
Teddy Atlas offers a cautiously curious perspective on the Jake Paul vs. Anthony Joshua showdown. While he cautions that it could be a step too far for Paul given the significant gap in class and experience, he doesn't dismiss the fight completely. He highlights Joshua's recent knockout loss and extended layoff, hinting that some lingering shadows might make him vulnerable. Even while recognizing that Joshua remains the more skilled and powerful puncher, Atlas admits he's willing to take that leap to see which version of AJ will actually step into the ring.
Having said all of that, this might be a step too far. Now, when I say it, I'm also, I try to be responsible. I've been in this game 50 years, so I know where not to step, where you could twist an ankle, or worse, you could break a leg or fall down. When I say that with the understanding, too, that Joshua's coming off being knocked out. Joshua hasn't fought for a year, right? But it's about a year. And there's some ghost in his attic. There are. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's gotten rid of some of them, but I know that in the position of a fighter coming where he's coming from, there are ghosts in your attic. I don't know if those ghosts are still taking up space. I don't know if maybe there could be no better exorcism for those ghosts than fighting a Jake Paul. That might be just the exorcism you need to clear out the attic. I don't know. That's the problem. We don't know. That's the mystery part of this. That's what makes it so, it makes it two things at once. Intriguing and...
Ryan Garcia reflects on the potentially life-altering consequences for Jake Paul if he comes up short. He stresses that Joshua's power cannot be underestimated and that a loss could impact Paul not just physically, but also in terms of reputation and career path. The ordeal could be transformative, underscoring the huge challenge ahead. Garcia highlights that Joshua's punching skill and strength make this fight a serious test, and failure carries real consequences. Training, preparation, and focus are vital for Paul to handle the risks Joshua brings. A key concern is that AJ has fought only twice in the past 2 years, following a split decision loss to Alexander Usyk in 2022, leaving his activity sporadic.
Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua?
By far?
Yeah. Too easy.
Why did he take that fight?
I think he didn't have no opponents and he wanted to make Netflix happy, and I think he made a misstep. I think he was handling his career perfectly.
Yeah.
I think he would have beat Gervonta.
I think he would have beat Gervonta too.
But I think this is a big misstep. I think he let his ego get in from him.
Jake Paul stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua isn't merely a bold move, it's a high-stakes gamble. Many analysts argue it carries serious risks to his health. Boxing insiders, including Ariel Helwani, have cautioned that Joshua's sheer power and ring experience could put Paul in real danger, pointing to past brutal knockouts as a very real and pressing concern.
7 fights, has been beaten 3 times. The 4 fighters that he beat didn't come to win. So he's not in his prime, is he? He's literally at the end of his career, pretty much finished. And this is why taking this fight with you is telling you all you need to know. It's a cash out. He might as well just cream as much money as he can at the end of his career, fighting an absolute joke shop in clown world. When I beat Anthony Joshua, he says, every doubt disappears. Come on. I mean, if this is a straight up AJ versus Jake Paul, then we all know what should happen. This is a 1-round job because AJ, even though he's past his best, even though he's seen better days, he throws a nice 1-2 down the middle. He's got a nice bit of distance, and fake Paul can't fight. He just can't. I don't care what anybody tells me. He can't fucking fight. He lost to Tommy Fury, for crying out loud. He can't jump in with Anthony Joshua now and expect to get a result. So, nothing's going to no doubt's going to disappear.
Rising heavyweight Moses Italma even urged Paul to prioritize his health over the payday, cautioning that one miscalculated punch could carry lasting consequences. At the same time, former pro Amir Khan didn't mince words, bluntly stating that Joshua could inflict serious harm. There's a real risk of brain injury.
Walk him out in like 2 rounds. Really? Yeah, why do you look surprised when
I don't. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
Come on, bro. You're fighting like one of the best heavyweight fighters in the world against a YouTuber. Like, come on. Like, respect the sport of boxing. And if AJ has to go in there and show these influencers that, listen, you can't fuck about with boxing. You know what I mean? Someone's going to get hurt badly, and this could be one of the first fights where a fighter gets hurt badly, because if you look at the size difference and the power difference, I mean, bro, there could be brain damages going on there. I mean, AJ could hurt him badly, you know.
Well, when you look at Francis Ngannou, who's one of the most fearsome combat stars there is. I know it's MMA, but we saw what AJ did to Ngannou. So,
and that's why you don't look. You can't be surprised if AJ is going to do the same to what's it called again?
MMA fighter Darren Till has shared his take on the controversy, labeling Jake Paul's call-out of Anthony Joshua as disrespectful. He feels that despite Paul's marketing savvy, he hasn't truly earned the chance to face one of boxing's elite stars. Many within the boxing world echo Till's view, believing that Paul is stepping far beyond his current level and venturing into territory that may be well out of his league.
Is it all just, does he actually believe that he can beat Anthony Joshua? Is it all for clout? Is it all just to keep his... I don't know. I mean, fucking... It's a little bit disrespectful as well. Like, Anthony Joshua hasn't fucking been a heavyweight world champion, beating all these absolute killers just to get called out by Jake Paul. But look, if Jake Paul believes in himself, then, you know, you can't really fault that. Like, obviously, but sometimes it comes across as a bit delusion as well. Because I know for a fact that I'd fight Jake, I'd beat him up easy.
David Haye has delivered a stark warning about the upcoming Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul clash, calling it an obvious mismatch. Speaking to Sky News, Haye emphasized that Joshua could inflict devastating damage on Paul and voiced serious concerns for his safety. He bluntly warned that if Paul underestimates Joshua's size, power, and experience, this could be a fight with dire consequences. There's a huge physical gap between Joshua and Paul. Joshua stands 6 feet 6 inches with an 82-inch reach, typically weighing 240 to 245 pounds, capped at 245 for this fight, while Paul, mostly a cruiserweight, has bulked to roughly 227. This size and weight edge could give Joshua a major advantage in reach and power.
£100 million potentially. Are you confident it'll happen?
I wasn't confident when I first heard about it. It sounds like one of those fairy tale fights that people talk about but don't actually get over the line. I heard this 3-4 months ago. I just dismissed it. I heard it a week ago. I went along with it, but deep down I thought this isn't going to happen. And today it's been made official. Jake Paul is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet, someone who is Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice, although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois. He's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level. And he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're two completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale, because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar. And I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to. It's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you've got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You've described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other. And Anthony Joshua, he's not a bodybuilder. He's a prime athlete. He's someone who's dedicated his life to this. He lives it. He doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. He's a real clean athlete who is going to inflict some horrendous damage to Jake Paul. And I hope we've got a referee in there who's quite compassionate, because if Jake Paul is left, up against the ropes with...
On the other side, Joshua's camp is counting on a swift and punishing display. Hearn has confidently predicted that Paul will be dismantled within 4 rounds, insisting that the moment Joshua lands a clean shot to the chin, it's all over. Hearn has positioned the bout as a crucial step for Joshua to rebuild his reputation and potentially set up an even bigger showdown in 2026, perhaps against someone like Tyson Fury. Once again, the spotlight is turning back toward elite heavyweight competition.
AJ versus Jake Paul. Not gonna lie, did not ever see this happening, like ever, ever, ever. So were you just as surprised when he agreed to do it as the world was?
Yeah, I mean, I had to deal with obviously knowing that it might happen, and then the contract coming through signed by Jake Paul, and I sort of looked at it, I was like, oh my God, he's done it. So yeah, look, I have to give him credit. I do think he's crazy. I think he's got absolutely no chance. I think he's going to get smashed to pieces.
Do you think Jake's crazy?
Yeah, I mean totally. I mean, listen, for us, we received an offer that was massive money and a really easy fight. We were talking about fighting this week here in an 8-round fight. Now we're fighting in an 8-round fight for 40 times more money against Jake Paul. So I love the opportunity for AJ.
Is Jake Paul really venturing into perilous territory by stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua?